Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from group Bujang are going to present about our project, which is the topic is fasting and physical health. So the topic that will be discussed in this video is introduction, problem statement, research question, research hypothesis, methods, preliminary analysis, final analysis, conclusion, and reference. So for the introduction, we choose to do research about this topic because we want to understand the differences in terms of physical health when practiced in fasting and without fasting. This will make us understand the importance of physical health to Muslim. So our problem statement is, does fasting related to physical health? And our research question have three. The first one is, does fasting have any effect on someone's physical health? The second question is, how many hours of sleep do students usually get when they are practicing fasting? And the third question is, does students encounter any health issues while practicing fasting? And our research objectives is about to study whether fasting actually gives positive impact to physical health, and to study the number of hours sleeps when practicing fasting, especially in Ramadan. And the last objective is to study whether a person encounter health issue during fasting. And our research hypothesis, we have three. The first one is fasting improves physical health by promoting weight loss, enhancing metabolic functions, and improving cardiovascular health. The second hypothesis is students who sleep less than 5 hours per night during fasting periods may experience lesser weight loss due to disrupted metabolic process. And our last hypothesis is the amount of physical activity such as walking may influence the weight loss outcomes of fasting students. And that's all from me. We are going to the next presenter.
Moving on to the data collection part. So the way we collect the data regarding the research is by through the Google Forms. A total of 40 responses were collected through WhatsApp and Telegram, and there were no corrupted data was identified during the process because there were measures taken to prevent corrupted data from being included in the analysis. So types of variable involved is dependent variable, which is the changes of weight during Ramadan, and independent variable is total walk distance travel in a day during Ramadan's month, and total of hours sleep during Ramadan. And the statistical method is mean, median, mode. So we know mean, which is the summation of the all values in a dataset and divided by the numbers of values, which is n. It will give a certain value that represents the data, and the median is the middle value in dataset when the values are arranged in ascending order. If there is an even number of observations, the average of the two middle numbers will be taken. Then median represents the midpoint of data. Mode is the most frequent value that appears in a dataset. A dataset can have more than one mode or no mode at all. Then we also use standard deviation, which measures the dispersion of data points from the mean, and it shows how spread out the values are. The variance also are used, which is the average of the square difference from the mean. It measures the degree of spread in the dataset, and Chebyshev's theorem also used, which provides a way to understand the spread of regardless of its distribution.
Alright, so moving on to our next agenda, which is method preliminary analysis. Okay, this is our question in our questionnaire. Firstly, on average, how many hours do you sleep per night during Ramadan when fasting? Okay, so mostly the answer for 5 to 6 hours, which is we have male and female respondents, 21. Okay, moving on to the next question, which is how many distance do you typically walk in a day during fasting? The first respondent mostly answer 2 to 5 kilometer and 1 to 2 kilometer. Lastly, Have you noticed any changes in your weight during Ramadan fasting? Mostly they answer lose weight and remain weight instead of gain weight. They are so really that only have one respondent. Okay. This is our graph for our first question, which is average sleep during Ramadan. Mostly they are, you can see the obvious bar, which is 5 to 6 hours. Secondly, we have average walking distance during Ramadan, which is 2 to 5 kilometers. Lastly, we have the graph of changes of weight during Ramadan. Mostly they have mostly they answered when Ramadan they lost weight instead of gain weight. Okay, statistical methods results. This is where we calculate the mean, median, mode, variance, standard deviation, Chebyshev theorem for our questionnaire. Firstly, we have for those who lost weight. Okay, for those who lost weight, and secondly, we have weight remain the same or gain. Thirdly, sleep duration during fasting or Ramadan, and fast sleep duration, and lastly, sleep duration when not fasting. Alright. So moving on to our final analysis. Final analysis is we have independent variable. Independent variable we have two. Firstly, we have total walk of distance traveled in a day during Ramadan month. Generally, being a student needs to walk and have more average walking distance compared to adult. This happens because students usually walk to the campus in weekdays, even during Ramadan. This is also happen because necessity for students is workable distance. Lastly, total hours of sleep during Ramadan. Total hours of sleep during Ramadan usually lesser because the need of sahur to follow our Prophet Sallallahu Sunnah. Most 5 to 6 hours usually ideal for students to gain enough sleep or energy throughout the day. Alright, that's it for me.
Alright, Assalamualaikum, and my name is Nur Izzuddin bin Zakaria, and I will continue to explain to you the three main questions of this project. So the first question is the number of hours of sleep the student get during the Ramadan. So most relatively, the student gets to around 5 to 6 hours of sleep during Ramadan. So why do we ask this question? This is because the when fasting, they need to take sahur before starting their whole day before fasting. So it requires them to wake up early, then normally they would. Other than the other day, there will be much more hour to sleep rather than the fasting. So next question is what the distance travel during fasting. So the distance travel for the student are mostly around 2 to 5 kilometers a day. So this question is mainly asked because during fasting, most of them are filled with energy from the sahur meal compared to normally people skip breakfast. This helps them to feel energized throughout the day. And last but not least, the question three, most of the testimony notice loss of weight while practicing fasting. So this question is asked because when fasting meals taken are mostly only two which reduce the amount of food eaten at once, lower the calories intake for the day. And for the conclusion is, by analyzing the mean score and applying statistical methods such as variance and standard deviation, we observe a significant relation between fasting and weight loss, which confirm our hypothesis. However, the varied individual experience emphasize the importance of personalized health approach during fasting, such as students in encounter sleep, dehydration, and etc. Thank you.